If you love food, this is the show for you. Bites of History with Irene.
Dude.
It's so good.
So cute.
Everybody thinks that brown eggs are healthier, and they are quite literally the exact same thing. Food history is history, and food history is a really big part of our lives.
Miss Irene Walton. What's up, girl?
Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan of yours. And my own.
That's dope. I feel like it's important to be a fan of yourself.
Here's the thing. I think I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately, so I'm curious what your thoughts are. Everybody stick with me. I'm
here.
I think, and I hope everybody else thinks, that they're the best person, that they're the best at everything. Now,
why?
Because
Explain.
I think you should have that high of an opinion of yourself that you're like, oh, I'm the best person.
Sure.
Is
But
that-
what if you're not, though? And you think
Well,
that?
then be better.
But what if they don't know that? Like, objectively, they literally think that they're the best person, but
they're just a terrible person.
they're an asshole.
Well, that's tricky. I guess that's where loving yourself gets a little
too
nuanced.
far, right? It's like if everyone had the self-awareness of like good objective qualities, and then they had those objective qualities, and they
Then it'd
were
be
a
like,
fan
lit.
of those objective qualities, they're like, oh, that's so cool. But like, there's some psychos out there.
What's your favorite quality about yourself?
Ooh, I don't think I ever got asked that.
Really?
I don't think so.
I haven't asked you that at work.
I don't think so. I think it could be relating to someone on some random topic, or just like continuing a conversation even though like there wasn't one there, type of deal.
I
So
think
like,
that's
you know, like
great.
an essay
Yeah.
and how there's like a blank page.
What?
So like if you write a blog or a letter, you start with just the paper.
Oh, sure.
Right?
I thought you were like, the part of an essay
Yeah.
that's a blank page.
So it's up to you to like write on that page, right? It's up
my
to
God.
you to like write that essay and articulate your thoughts on paper and see where they come from, right? And so now you have like, I think with me, my strongest, or like what I like most about myself is like, oh, I'm gonna see Irene there, she's gonna say hi, and I could either try to figure out like this conversation and write down like my thoughts on that piece of paper and like continue it, or just like not. And most of the time I decide to write.
I think you're a very good writer in that aspect.
yeah.
I do think you can have a conversation with anybody, which is a really strong quality.
You too. Yours is just like forced. It's not forced. It's there.
It's like bad and nobody wants it.
It's not necessarily bad. I think it's a different avenue of approaching a conversation.
Well, thank you.
Like instead of like putting your big toe in the pool and feeling the water, you're just like cannonball, bitch.
Mama, I said, let me jump in.
Were you that kid? You were like, I don't even want to
Oh.
touch that water. I'm diving in.
I used to go up to people, like my parents have so many stories of this, of being at like the park, like, when I'm 4, 5, 6 years old, going up to kids I've never met before in my life and saying, hi, I'm Irene. Do you want to be my friend? And
I love that.
Sometimes they'd say yes and sometimes they'd say no.
Where do you think you got that confidence from? Because that same kid is you right now.
I mean, for sure. I definitely got the confidence from my parents. I'm really lucky and very privileged
What,
to
your parents were walking around saying, can you be my friend?
No, they were just, I think that I was really lucky and privileged to grow up in a really loving, really happy, connected, strong family unit.
Okay.
Obviously we had our problems and, whatever, but I had 2 parents who loved me very much, me and my brother. And we're always just like, you're fun, you're funny, you're nice, you're kind. Like everyone would want to be your friend. So I was like, bet.
Wow.
let's try this out.
That's beautiful.
And then I think that's also where I got like I have no fear of rejection at all. Because from 4 years old, people were like, no, I don't want to be your friend. I was like, lit. How about you? So
Dang,
nice.
except back then and now, Irene just asks dudes on dates. And so,
Okay, first of all, I do not ask on dates because I am no longer the aggressor, but I do make a move at first. I say, hey, I think you're cute.
what's the difference?
Well, the difference is I will then
Is it still initiating? It's
I
still
make the first move,
yeah.
but I like to be asked out. Yeah.
It's like, what can I do right now to make this dude ask me out?
100%. And but
Can you give me some of those tactics? Like, what are some? Are we allowed to know?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, there's no like tactic. It's just I really live by the philosophy, and it's funny because it's started going around on TikTok recently. Like some girl posted about it, and I'm like, fuck, of course I didn't post about that first. But whatever, good for her. I don't know the creator's name, but we have the same energy. I've always thought, if you have a compliment to give somebody, like, why wouldn't you give it to them? Unless it's, of course, like super inappropriate or, whatever. But like, why would I not tell that guy I think he's super cute? Why would I not tell that girl she looks great in purple? Like,
what's the borderline to like an inappropriate compliment?
Well, depending on how drunk I am.
No, like, what would it be? Like,
no, I know what you mean. I mean, I don't know. Like, I would not start with something like super raunchy or super crazy, but like, if I think somebody's handsome, I'm going to tell him.
Yeah.
I think that's nice because I would want somebody to tell me if they thought I was pretty.
Dang, I don't. That's so funny that you approach like those scenarios like that because like. To some, objectively, you would think that it's coming on too strong. But, like, to most, like, if they really thought about it, that's what they would think. It's like, I would love someone to tell me that, and I would also love to tell someone.
Well, and I also tell people in a way that's not like, here's the compliment, and now one for me, or like, and now what? It's just like, I like to throw it out there, and if they would like to take it, great. And if they don't... They don't, and they don't feel uncomfy about it. That's how I would hope to be complimented as somebody like, oh, you look great like that. Or you look great in those pants. Great, cool, whatever. And then if I want, now the door is open and I can be like, beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's the best compliment you've ever gotten?
I don't know.
Okay, great answer.
I don't think there has to be a best. I think
not like a superlative, but if you have one that like, what's your favorite compliment to get? Like, oh, Nate lifts like crazy. Nate's form is nectar, dude.
Nectar. I don't know. I think growing up, I just like never accepted compliments. So like sometimes they just like pass by my head just because like I guess growing up from like a immigrant family and stuff like that, it's always like in the back of my head, like you're never good enough.
Damn.
Which like kind of I think made me who I am today in the sense of like I appreciate compliments, but like I don't take them too seriously, and I also like the opposite part too. Like if it's like, Nate, you're a piece of shit, I don't take it too seriously. Okay. I was like, yeah, it's kind of like how you felt about like, you don't want to be my friend, sick. You want to be my friend, sick.
What where are you where's your family from? I don't think I know this.
Fresno, California.
But you said you're an immigrant family.
Oh, so my mom's from Laos,
cool.
and my dad's from the Philippines.
Amazing. Oh, I didn't know that. I love.
Yeah, I don't know. The immigrant mentality was definitely a thing.
I was talking to some of my friends about that because I don't know what that's like growing up with immigrant parents or anything like that, and hearing some of my friends who I have a Filipino friend, we were just talking about this the other day, and they were telling me about what it's like growing up and kind of like not being good enough and not being told that you're doing great all the time and da-da. It's crazy. That must have been intense.
And from what you just said, like you can't really relate to that because you had like such a positive like reinforcement. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, and like it sounds like we might have very different experiences in this realm, but like if I got a B in math, they were like, "Yeah, math's hard."
Yeah, B was
B's
like
pretty solid.
That's a failing, bro.
See, yeah, very
Isn't
different.
that crazy?
Vibes. Yeah, I have Filipino and Vietnamese friends who's like. They got a B, and I was like, nice, dude, like in class on a test, and they were like, fuck, and we're freaking out, and I was like, why? What's going on? Yeah. And they would kind of tell me that stuff, and I was like, oh gosh, that's...
I think I faked my way through, I guess, like...
Faked or cheated?
Faked.
Hey.
Like, I think I tried so hard that it looked like I knew my shit, but, like, I didn't. So, for example, I'll give you, like, math, right?
Okay.
So, I like solving problems. So I'll like mimic the math problem onto the actual problem, but there's a reason that problem exists in the world. It's like for like the rate of sewage through the streets to be constructed properly, right?
Is this a math problem?
Yeah,
I'm already lost.
But I wouldn't understand like how it related to the actual thing. I would just like copy the formula and put it into
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So it wasn't like working it out for each particular problem. It was just like, I know how to plug it in
structure,
properly.
yes, and then it would turn out the same answer. But then I went to college, and I went
Where'd
to
you go to college?
UCLA.
Oh my God.
And
okay, flex.
all these motherfuckers were like, they understood every aspect of every aspect of every aspect of every aspect. And I was like, yeah, I've been faking my way to here, bro. Like, I should not be in this math class right now.
What was your major?
It was math.
Shut up.
And then I was like, I realized I shouldn't be there, that I ended up doing a little bit of statistics, which is like the less version of how hard math is, and then sociology.
I was still doing so poorly in statistics class. I was terrible.
Yeah, somehow I faked my way there.
Damn.
So statistics and sociology, it was cool. I don't know how we got there, but
we were just talking about math and immigrant parents, and then where you went to school. The B, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Damn.
Have you ever gotten criticized for a grade?
Yeah, definitely. If I got C's or below, which I only ever got 1 D in my life, and I am still upset about it.
I got a D too.
Hell yeah. But
D's don't get degrees.
They most certainly do not. So if I got like a C or below, it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like a B is still like, okay, you're doing your best, but a C, like they weren't stoked about that. So it wasn't like, oh, do whatever, but it was just like, in a math class, they both were not the best at math either. So they were like, hey, B's fine by us.
Yeah, they related because they went through the schooling process and they were like, this shit's hard. I get it.
Exactly. Were both of your parents, so they grew up in Laos and the Philippines and then came here?
Yeah.
And was it just you, or do you have siblings?
I got a younger sister.
Oh, cool. How old is she?
Yeah, 22. She just moved to Montana.
Wow,
Have you been to Montana for school? Like PA school?
Nice. No, I've never been.
No.
I've heard it's beautiful, though.
I heard there's no one there.
Well, that's nice.
That's not nice.
It's chill.
I also like living in a city with a lot of people, though.
I do. I
love LA.
I love people.
Yeah. I feel like people make the world go round.
They do, and it's also like, I mean, like it as a woman, it really does like feel safer to have so many people around all the time.
How so?
Because it's just like there's always going to be eyes. There's always going to be like, and I like living in an apartment because
It's safer.
It's safer, and God forbid if something were to happen. That was so much louder than I thought. You were right. God forbid if something were to happen. It's like there's people here, there's people here, there's people there, there's people there.
Yeah.
So always like it's just always nice. And I like living in an apartment because if I do hear a weird noise or something, I'm like, nah, it's probably my neighbor. Nah, it's probably my roommate.
Yeah, the downside is like you could hear people stomping and shit.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah. I'd rather that than like
in a world
be
where
isolated.
like everyone needs to be quiet filming their self-tape.
Truly.
Or their podcast.
Yeah. As we're
Speaking for
actively
both of us.
filming shit. What has been? When did you move? So you moved to LA for college?
Yeah, and then I just loved it out here because
you just stayed.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the weather. I loved the hustle. I loved the creativity. I feel like. And the two jobs that I was like, how can I not have a schedule and still make decent money is bartending and personal training. That was it.
There you go.
Was yours bread?
Mine was also waiting tables, making videos, bartending. It's funny because I am such a morning person, and I hate being up late at night. So bartending isn't. Oh look! Do you see my bruise? I've been trying to work on that hitting thing.
So guys, a little. So me and Irene bartend at a bar called Bar Next Door in West Hollywood. Woo. Shouts out! It's like Marilyn Monroe inspired, old school Hollywood.
It's sick.
It's sick.
Cocktails are great. Shout out Brand.
Honestly, one of the best cocktail menus I've ever worked at.
Yeah, by far the best cocktail menu I've ever worked at because I've worked at really terrible places.
Yeah, and what were we talking about for that?
Oh, bartending. Okay, so we're training, right? So Nate so we're all having to like learn the cocktails behind the bar. We go up like 2 at a time, whatever. And Nate is so fucking cool because he has his shaker. And then he has it, and to break the shaker, like to break the two tins apart, you need a good amount of force, and you need to hit it in the right spot so that the like vacuum releases. And I would always just hit it with my palm and like bam, 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 like 3 or 4 times because I couldn't get it right. But Nate, so cool, had his 2 tins and just hit it with his elbow and took it off, and it worked in like one fell swoop. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. So then I tried to do it, and I cut my elbow open, and then now I've been trying to do it, and I haven't cut it again, but I do have a giant bruise.
I got a couple videos. You got it down a couple times.
A couple of times. I've done it cool, like when nobody interesting is watching.
Honestly. If someone sat down at your bar and they asked you for a cocktail and you're like, yeah, I got you, and you make it, you double strain that shit, and by opening it, you just with the elbow,
it's so cool,
boom,
dude.
double strain, and you give it to them, and it's like the hottest motherfucker in the world.
It does have like a bit of like, fucking Riz on that.
It's a ton of Riz.
It's
also,
very chill.
I just found out what Riz meant the other day.
Charisma.
Yeah.
Of course. Aren't you like 25? You should know that.
A little bit older than that, but.
How old are you?
26.
Okay, let's calm down.
Hey, that 1 year I learned a lot.
Yeah, big year. 25 to 26, heavy.
Yeah. So, how long have you been making content about food?
I've been making content about food for just over 4 years now.
Just over 4 years.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start just like talking about butter and like shit like that?
Like what inspired the podcast, or what inspired like my love for food in general?
I guess was the food before the podcast? I'm assuming it was.
Yeah. So I've gotten to cook my whole life. I love cooking, and it very much started as.
Before you continue, can I like buy groceries for us, and can we cook one time?
Yeah, I would love that.
Your food is like looks like I salivate looking at your food. It
tastes like shit. It just looks good.
I mean, your face of how like the reaction to what you eat it, I'm just like, wow, I want that feeling.
You're so sweet. I mean, I love food so much, and I love eating overcomplicated food, but I don't like making overcomplicated food. So the stuff I make is very like
simple.
Yeah, it's simple. It's comfort food, and
Can you give me some examples if the people who don't know?
Yeah, my whole like food journey starts with my dad, because my dad was a stay-at-home dad, and he had dinner on the table for us every single night for when my mom got home from work, and it was definitely like unconventional, but
that's so dope.
Yeah, it was amazing. We had this like really beautiful. We have a really beautiful wealth of memories that I didn't know was going to be so important to me because my dad passed when I was really, really young.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. And so I learned all this stuff from him, but it wasn't like, it's funny. I feel like in movies and media, learning how to cook is very romanticized and like, come on, let's go make pasta with your nonna. And it's like this really beautiful. My dad, it was very much like, we gotta fucking make the salad. Irene, why didn't you put the cutlets in? Like, it was like, so it was.
Can I get a how you doing real quick?
How you doing?
Yo, I live for that. I go into work and like I kind of don't want to go to work sometimes, but then I see Irene's working,
You're so
and then
cute.
I'm just like, I need to go just to see it. Get a how you doing one time, just one time.
It's so fun. And my dad, like, it's not that dramatized, but he really was like a rough, gruff New Yorker, like super cute. And so it was very much like out of necessity that I was learning how to cook. I didn't even really realize it.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that was not a common thing. Like a lot of people
don't know how to cook.
Don't know how to cook, but also didn't get to sit down with their family every night and didn't get home cooked meals. And like, I really took it for granted. And well, actually, I take that back. I wouldn't say I took it for granted, but I just wasn't aware of how special that was.
Sure.
And so I fell in love with food. My mom and I would bake all the times, like on the weekends when she was home more. So that's where I got my love for baking. And
what age was this?
I've been cooking since I can remember, like 3-4 years old, just like cutting up tomatoes or ripping up the lettuce or whatever.
Your parents trust you with the knife at 3-4 years old?
That probably wasn't until like 9 or 10.
Okay.
But like ripping up lettuce and, drying the veggies or whatever.
I would lose my shit if I saw some 9-year-old using a knife cutting some tomatoes. I'm like, damn, you're Mozart right now, bro.
Did you learn how to, do your parents cook?
Yeah, my mom cooks a lot. Like the coolest.
Does she make like Filipino food?
Vietnamese, like pho. Her pho is like insane. It's like a 10-day process type of deal.
Shut up. Pho is one of my favorite foods of all time.
So real good stuff. A lot of good Asian dishes from my mom. But nice. I wish I learned that stuff. Most of the cooking that I learned was from Boy Scouts.
You were in Boy Scouts?
Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout.
That's the one that you got like after 18, right?
Yeah.
That's great. So you were in it for like years.
Years. Yeah.
How far did you go?
All the way to the top.
Okay. Brag.
I was an Eagle Scout. Come on now.
I don't know. Is there one above Eagle Scout?
No, that's it. It's top one.
What makes you like stop then? Like when are you done?
I think you age out after 18 or something like that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you learn?
Knots, cooking. Oh, cooking wise, I don't think I've ever talked about it on the podcast, guys. So I guess Irene got me to talk about
Welcome.
cooking.
Hi, Nate Biltz.
Yeah, Biltz. Come on now.
Blitz. It's always going to be Nate Biltz.
Yeah, that's real. A lot of people thought I played football.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But pancakes, cooking over like coal, like we would put like these potatoes with like rosemary and certain types of beef, and then we'd just like put them, let them sit overnight in coal, and open it up, and they'd do these like real good like roast beef, and like
that sounds insane.
That was good. A lot of eggs, bacon, like all the camping stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, like generic.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is that still the stuff that like that makes you like super nostalgic?
No, I think nostalgic's definitely like the fun, the food that my mom made. Because now I didn't realize, back to what you said about cooking in the kitchen, it's like, oh, this shit's normal. Like my mom would make like fresh pot stickers and like all these things, and I'd be like, I want the hamburger at school. And like, then I feel weird bringing like this huge ass lunchbox with like 10
like a thermos.
Yeah, with a thermos and shit, and everyone got their dope cool paper bag with the burger in it. And I was like,
or like a peanut butter and jelly, and like little did you know you had the best fucking thing in the whole cafeteria.
Yeah, I was like, everyone's eating peanut butter jelly. I want a peanut butter jelly.
Well, and then would you go to your friends' houses and they would be like, we're gonna get Chinese food tonight, and you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
That? Yeah.
My friends would be like, we're making spaghetti and meatballs, and I was like, oh great, because I had my fucking Italian ass dad's spaghetti and meatballs, so I was like, hell yeah, dude. And then they would bring out like a ketchup covered thing of angel hair, and I was like, I want to die.
Yeah,
this is terrible. And it's funny, that's something you take for granted for sure, is like the quality of like good cooking when you grow up with it, and then you don't see it, and you're like, you think this is Asian food?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're wrong, dude.
That must have been oh my god, homemade pho. That's insane.
I think we should have you try it someday.
Okay, great. What's your mom's name?
Leanne.
Lean?
Leanne.
Leanne.
L-I-N, yeah. She's dope. She's this 4'11" lady. She's
awesome. I love a short mom. Are both your parents still around?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Fortunate.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't until like moving out to LA I realized like how good I got it, in the sense of just like, you got two parents, and they're still alive and they're still together.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that part.
Do you get along with your parents?
Yeah, probably the best relationship I've had with them in ever.
Shut up, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's dope. It's
Great.
super cool. Yeah, very blessed.
Love.
What do you call it? So when you're talking about food and you got into food because of your dad, what inspired you to start documenting it and putting it into the world?
So I have, if you couldn't tell, I've always been relatively theatrical.
Oh, really? I couldn't tell at all. Oh, my God.
And I just...
Hey, guys, real quick. She's being slightly theatrical right now because she...
Everybody watch out, I'm being theatrical.
She did her own makeup today, and she put...
I'm putting the freckles
on her face. And I was like, dang, you look so good without your makeup, in my head. Because, like, usually you don't see freckles, like, on someone.
I wish I had freckles.
Yeah,
well, I have, like, little tiny baby ones, but they're not. They might just be blackheads. I don't know.
You know how to bring them out?
What?
You go into the sun.
I go into the sun.
Do you?
I do.
Okay, I was just double checking.
I just wear a lot of sunblock. Not all of us have a perfect caramel complexion, Nate.
Do you believe? Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's getting better.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you. Do you believe in sunblock?
Do I believe in sunblock?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Of course.
Okay.
Do you not?
Starting to not.
Okay. Sorry. Hold on. What do you mean?
So there's been like
what do you mean?
There's been some like recent like studies showing that like sunblock's just like horrible for you.
Tell me more about that.
There's a lot of
and cite your sources.
I can't do it right now, so I'm gonna send you these peer-reviewed articles after. Okay. But it's just a weird dichotomy because like these research studies show that like there's a ton of chemicals in them, and like also
there's chemicals in everything.
Yeah,
there's chemicals in a banana.
A little bit of sun exposure every single day for a long period of time, like your skin will adapt to the sun. Like we weren't meant to be in a nice, cool apartment every single day and step outside like for 2 hours.
All right. Okay.
She's like, I don't buy this, guys.
I do not believe this at all. I am, as a pale bitch,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Sunny. Oh. That's what I call sunblock. Sunny.
Sunny? I like that. Yo, you get away with, like, saying some gnarly shit.
Like what?
You're a pale bitch.
I am a pale. Wait, why? Is that bad?
I don't think so. I feel like, I mean, no, it's not.
Wait,
but
okay, cut that out.
No, that's all I meant. Like, bitch. Just saying the word bitch, right?
Okay.
Not to you.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not calling you a bitch.
I am kind of a bitch.
Okay, you're not getting to my point. My point is just saying words that, like, can be provocative to other people.
Oh.
And you'll say it in a way that's just, like, totally disregarding and towards no one. That I'm just like, it makes sense.
Oh, great. I'm glad you think that. Yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't curse as much as I do.
Okay, sorry. Back to documenting food
Oh,
onto
yes.
the internet.
Okay. So I've always, I used to want to be an actress.
Okay.
And so
Why used to? Do you not want to anymore?
I want to be a host now. Like if I got, a major part in a movie, I wouldn't say no. But I think there are so many more talented actors and actresses out there that are not me. And I think I really shine as like a host. And I realized that maybe 5-6 years ago. And
Yeah, where did you get the jingle for Bites of History?
oh my God, my best friend in the world wrote that jingle and the Dead Dad's Kitchen jingle.
Yo.
She is so talented. Shout out Juliet Piper.
Shouts out Juliet Piper.
She is.
I was vibing to that jingle. I listened to like I think 10-year episodes and I was
You're
like,
so nice.
Let's go.
It's so good. She is, and here's the tea. Is we talk every day anyway. So she knew like I was starting a podcast and I was starting a cooking show and whatever. And I was like, hey, do you think you could write a jingle? She's like, yeah, of course. What do you want to be in it? I was like, oh, this, and this. And she's like, okay, I'm not even shitting you. 15 minutes later, she's like, how's this? Had the jingle.
What?
She's amazing.
So cool.
She's such a talent. It's insane.
Can you sing it for us right now?
Yeah, hold on, wait. How's it start?
She doesn't even know her jingle.
Wait, yes, I do. Have you ever wondered how it made it to your table? Have you ever wondered how it made it to your shelf? If you love food, this is the show for you. Bites of History with Irene.
Dude.
It's so good.
It's so cute. The first time I listened to it, I was like, whoa, that was so good. I rewinded it like at least 5 times. I was like, whoa.
Oh, that's going to make her so happy. That's really sweet.
It's catchy.
She's
catchy.
so talented.
It took me
insane.
to like when I was like 5 years old and like I was just like, whoa, like I vibe with this song. What's the jingle?
Yeah.
You know? And just like, it was like on repeat.
I love that.
Yeah.
What, do you have a favorite song?
No.
Okay. Anyway, here's how I started.
I got favorite artists.
Who do you like?
I used to be like the.
You seem like a Drake guy.
Oh, totally. Not.
Really?
No. I don't
Really?
listen to Drake.
Oh, okay. Who do you like?
I listen to a lot of acoustic shit.
Oh, you like Zach Bryan, right? We've talked about this, even though you don't remember.
Ed Sheeran, John Mayer. I like Noah Kahan is a big guy.
Oh
yeah, we talked about this. You commented on my story.
no,
What's up?
we were talking about Zach Bryan that time. We were talking about Zach Bryan, he posted a story of him like running on Runyon Canyon, playing Zach Bryan, and I was like, oh my God, love Zach Bryan, like whatever, and he was like, not more than me, and I was like, yeah, we'll talk about that, whatever, some bullshit. Then like 2 days later, we worked together. And I was like, oh yeah, like Zach Bryan. And you were like, what? I was like, you know how we literally talked about 2 days ago? And he was like, what do you mean? Insane.
Oh, memory's such a funny thing, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you don't have it.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like I don't remember short-term shit. Or like,
Tricky.
I it's hard to remember like what I did earlier today.
Well, you had a very big day.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I keep getting distracted. So I realized that I shined as a host, and I was like, I want to host Food Network shows. Like that's something I've always wanted to do, but I was like, oh, I'll be an actress and whatever. So then, I had a friend that was like, you talk about this a lot. You should just start a YouTube channel. And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. So I did. And then I started Dead Dad's Kitchen on Father's Day of 2019.
Okay.
And I have been putting like food content out ever since. Before that, I was doing like baking and stuff, like partially professionally, and putting that kind of stuff on the internet.
Did you go for that or no? Mm-mm. Okay. Just all through Dad's Kitchen. Oh, Dad's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, this all makes sense now.
So sweet. It's all coming together. But yeah, so like was making cookies and cakes and stuff for people and selling them to bars and restaurants and whatever. And then I started doing the actual show where I would have my buddies come on and teach them how to make something that my dad used to make, and that was the tea. And then I also, like, I do want to make it clear, my very alive, very wonderful mom, who was my best friend, taught me a lot of the stuff I know too. So we talk about that a lot too.
Yeah.
But then
and you just kept doing it.
Yeah, I kept doing it, and
that was during COVID or no?
That was right before COVID.
Okay.
So then it actually parlayed into where I was able to make that my job during COVID, which was a blessing and a godsend. And then I started the podcast like a year and some change ago because I just love food history, and I'm a big nerd about that kind of stuff.
It was something that I didn't know I needed to know.
Some of it's like really like important shit to know, because it's like the thing you posted the other day, which that was very nice, thank you. About like everybody thinks that brown eggs are healthier. Yeah. And they are quite literally the exact same thing. Yeah. It's just a different chicken, a different type of chicken laid the egg.
I was crying because I was super high when I was like listening to it, and you were like, yeah, it was like different coloring from the chicken's butthole or something. Yeah, like
the chicken's butt just like paints the egg.
Yo, when I heard that, I was like, dang.
And so people are spending like $3, $4, $5 more per carton for the exact same thing. Now, when it comes to like organic versus not, pasture raised versus not, that is a difference. But even then, there's a lot of nuance.
That makes sense, because my mom has chickens, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like we would like make eggs from pooped eggs like that day.
And those are the best eggs.
Yeah, but some of them were brown and some of them were white, and I didn't put it together. And I was like, this white egg is definitely just as good as this brown one.
100%.
It's from the same fucking chicken.
It's from the same chicken butt.
Yeah. It really messed with me, because I was like, I really probably wasted a couple $100 on like getting the brown egg, and it's the last 10 years.
It's just really good marketing. It's like how if something has a fucking cardboardy looking package, everybody thinks it's natural.
Isn't it crazy that we actually don't know like what goes into most of these products, and like 100%. You just believe that it's better for you based on what ads tell you, what media tells you, what your friends tell you, but there's no actual proof.
Well, and that's what I'm saying about the chemical stuff too, is like there was this really beautiful social experiment done where it was a focus group, and they gave a list of ingredients, like of listed out ingredients, the chemicals that were in something. Yeah. And it was given to like 10 people, and the proctor said, okay, would you eat this? Yeah. And they said, no, absolutely not. There's so many chemicals in here. There's so many things I can't pronounce. Oh, shit. It was a fucking banana. They just put the chemicals that are in it, like the compounds that are in a banana. And it's like, everybody is so like, which of course there are terrible things that we're eating because they're cheaper and they're fillers and they're whatever. But it is very frustrating that's like, somebody will be like, this food is processed. Mm-hmm. So is every food that you're eating, unless you are picking it out of your own garden. Organic peaches that you're getting at the store are also processed. Yeah. Because a process is just things that are happening. Mm-hmm. Those peaches have to be picked. Mm-hmm. They have to be cleaned. Yeah. They have to be like sorted through, and they have to be transported somewhere. That's a process. Yeah. It makes me so angry. I don't eat processed food. So you don't eat anything. Yeah. Which, if you grow everything you eat and you hunt and you do whatever, like, sure, then you're not eating processed food.
Which is super impressive, because I know...
Dude, homesteaders, crazy.
I know a few people who, like, literally hunt for all their meat, right? Mm-hmm. And then they grow all their vegetables.
All their shit. It's crazy.
I'm just like... And he was like, yeah, we don't eat chips or anything. And I was like, all you do is eat meat and fruit and...
Which lettuce. Is so impressive. I'm sure they're super healthy, but I'm also like, give me those fucking salsa verde Doritos.
I know. I had McDonald's yesterday. It slapped.
What'd you get?
3 McDoubles and 10. Whoa.
3?
Oh, dude, I could put it down.
Well, you do lift like 400 pounds.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, you're not getting there. You got there, didn't you?
I'm trying to win, so I have to.
Is that not awesome? I think that's cool.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. After this, hopefully you know me for the next like year or so. I think we'll be friends.
It's such an odd time to put up. Hopefully you know me for 1 year.
No, at least a year from now.
Yeah, like, I think we'll be friends.
People who like, it's so funny how your body adapts, because I'm gonna go into like running and yoga instead of lifting weights after this powerlifting competition.
Oh, really? Why?
I don't know. New challenge.
Okay.
I think I treat life as a game.
Well.
Yeah. It's like, what level do you want to go? Do you want to win this game? You choose it and try to win it.
Oh, so like this powerlifting competition is like the final boss of this level?
100% of my fitness like chapter or
interesting.
My fitness game. It's like my powerlifting Wii Sports game.
What does your Wiimoji look like?
I don't know. I think me.
Okay, I have a question. What's your go-to, like, and if it is McDonald's, that's fine. But what's your go-to, like, cheat meal? Because you're Mr. Personal Trainer, healthy guy.
Yeah.
When you, like, what's something you cannot put down if you start eating it?
BJ's Pizookie.
Great answer. Are we talking chocolate chip? Are we talking double chocolate?
I'm talking about the 3 samplers. So you can get
the flight! Yes,
flight.
dude. Absolutely.
People sleep on it, but the monkey bread Pizookie.
I've never had that. Did they come? That must have come out with that recently.
2 years ago.
Knows the date. He's like February 2021. Good
100%.
year.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have to go to BJ's and get a monkey bread
Let's
Pizookie.
absolutely do that.
Should we do it today?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. But
you
soon.
said.
Is there a BJ's around here?
I don't know. We'll find one.
Work. A monkey bread? Okay.
So monkey bread's up
exciting.
there. I like the just regular chocolate chip and the macadamia.
I'm not a big white chocolate girly.
Why not?
It's because it's not chocolate. First of all,
Why isn't it not chocolate?
it's just cocoa butter and sugar, which like go off. I believe me. I'm not saying it's not for some people. In some situations I like it, but it's definitely not my like. I want a white chocolate something.
Why don't you think they made a chocolate chip macadamia?
That's a phenomenal question.
Because I haven't seen it.
Well,
and I think I might like it better.
I think I'd like it better too. Actually, I wonder if it's because macadamia nuts are already relatively savory, so they're trying to offset that with a sweeter chocolate.
Is this
but
how
like
you
a
think
milk
about
chocolate
when you cook
macadamia.
shit?
Pardon?
Is this like the thinking process you have when you're cooking things? Yeah. I need to cook more like you. Like
I haven't cooked in a while, dude.
the bread stuff that you make.
Oh my god!
All your breads. Like
I made focaccia the other day. It was great.
I don't even know what that is.
That's like the bread I make.
Oh, focaccia. Okay. Is that like the Italian bread?
It's like the bubbly dimpled bread that I like will do art on, or I'll do like sauce on, or whatever. Or I'll write words.
Yeah. Isn't bread just like? So I had a baker on from Poland.
Damn.
And he has a whole business in Poland, and he came here and just tried like sourdough bread from Tartine, right? And like we were just talking about bread. I was like, yeah, it's still just bread. He's like, no, it's not just bread. I was like, oh fuck, okay, what is it then? Because it's like at the end of the day, it's the same like 3 ingredients, right? It's like flour, yeast, and
Dude, yeah.
And what?
Well, it's dependent on what type of bread, but if you're talking about an ancient bread like that, it's flour, salt, yeast, and water.
Yeah.
But like a brioche is called an enriched dough, which means there's a fat in there and eggs in there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it can be enriched with just fat, but usually it's fat and eggs. So that'd be like a brioche or a challah or like thicker, fluffier, denser breads. But yeah, like a sourdough is just, but it's the same thing with like.
Did you know all this like from your parents, or did you actually research all this stuff?
This stuff is more, the bread is my mom and me kind of learning together, but she originally was the one who kind of taught me how to make bread, because she would make bread every once in a while at home. But it's also like, do you like beer?
I like
You're
beer.
a beer guy.
Beer guy.
Have you ever been to like breweries and gone on the tours and stuff?
Yep.
So that's what I think is so funny. Whenever I go on these brewery tours, they're like, now beer is just 4 ingredients, and you're like, the first 6 minutes of every brewery tour is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's just water, hops, barley, and whatever, and yeast.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, for sure. But it is interesting because there are so many different beers, and it's the same as bread. It's all starting with 4 things. Yeah. And then they'll put peaches, or they'll put whatever, or they'll put more hops in it, and it'll be an IPA, whatever. Ooh. So it's like the same energy.
IPA sounds good.
IPA does sound good.
What's your favorite type of IPA?
I like a juicy IPA. I'm not a huge IPA girly. I'm more of like a hef type of gal. But
you like a good Blue Moon or no?
I like a Blue Moon.
Yeah.
But I'm very much like, if I'm gonna have a beer and I'm gonna like be drinking bread basically, which I will.
Isn't that real?
Yeah.
It's basically you're drinking bread.
Yeah, it's because it's those same 4 ingredients.
Same 4 ingredients.
It's just liquid form.
Yeah.
And So like if I am gonna drink beer, I will usually be drinking like a local thing if I'm at the place or whatever.
If you had to choose between beer and bread, what would you choose?
Bread.
All day, right?
100,000%. Not even a question.
She didn't even blink about that, guys. I didn't even finish the question. The question mark was not even
hadn't curled yet.
Haven't curled.
Well, it's just so much better because whoa, that was a good crack.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was impressive.
Okay.
I can't do my neck really. I can do like maybe one.
It's impressive.
Can you crack your back?
Yeah. You mean crack your back? Not now. We do later.
I can do my shoulder. I can do my knuckles.
Do you think cracking your knuckles is bad for you?
No.
Why not?
Because it's just nitrogen being released.
Fair. Isn't it crazy that like for so long everyone's like, don't crack your knuckles, it's bad for you.
It might be, but like when I've talked to doctors, they've been like, that's fine.
No.
Because then there's stuff that cracks that you don't intentionally crack. So it's like, was that bad?
Maybe.
Yeah, might be. I could be dying, who knows?
Could be. So back to making content and stuff, like were you serving and stuff before COVID? Like
yeah, so
waitressing?
Waitressing, food service has always been like my main job. There have been.
Is it also because you loved food and that's why you liked it? Okay.
Yeah,
and you love people, I'm assuming.
My first job ever was like paying like W-2, had to do paperwork job, not like babysitting or whatever, was at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf.
Okay.
And ever since I've just been like a food service girly.
Yeah.
There have been 1 or 2 times where I've like done other stuff and I was like, ugh. Which it was very important and it was really like special for me to do those jobs, but I always have come back to food service.
Yeah.
And until I have my show on Food Network or Hulu or Cooking Channel or whatever, I will probably be doing that. Well,
do you think it's more... I mean, you created it yourself. You made your own food channel.
I know. Thank you.
Isn't that so cool?
I know.
And,
I think so too.
And did you start like making money off of it? Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like definitely the proudest, one of the proudest things I've ever done.
Like, what did it start with, the YouTube ads?
I guess the first thing I ever made money with content-wise was like YouTube AdSense. Yeah.
So
and
like,
then like sponsorships
when you got like a
stuff.
few dollars, like from those, the YouTube ads, like what was your reaction? What was the feeling towards it?
I think I got a check for like $52 or something when I first got monetized, and it was like, somebody sent me the wrong check. Somebody sent me a check I don't need. Where do I send this back to? Yeah. And then I like looked into it and I was like, oh, it's from YouTube. Like, that's so crazy. And yeah, it's just like, it's really very, very cool. And it's a very hard job. It you know, elicits a lot of burnout, a lot of stress, a lot of fear. Yeah. It's a very tricky job if you're not millions and millions and millions of subscribers up there. But for a little while, it was like sustaining me. And that was really cool and really impressive. And to like, even to me, and I was super proud of it and I still am. But it's like, it's so cool to be like, oh, I made this thing and somebody
appreciated it.
Yeah.
It
Somebody
brought
appreciated
value
it.
to someone else's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like that value has turned into a monetary resource just because of like what came out of my brain. Like that's so fun, or what I could do, or what I improv'd, or whatever. Isn't
that crazy that an idea, this like little blimp, that something popped in your brain and you grabbed onto it and you made it into like a real tangible object or video or concept, and then someone found value in that?
Dude, it's so sick.
Isn't you
must
wild?
Feel that same way about the podcast.
Yeah, so
what was the impetus for this?
I had so many conversations, like balcony conversations, like with like, I went to UCLA, so I was personal training there, so I was around.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I was personal training like lawyers, doctors, professors, and like we'd hang out and we'd become friends, because I feel like if you're gonna build a relationship train someone, they're in a very vulnerable spot. So you have to like just communicate properly and honestly build a relationship. So most of the time we become friends, and I'd have like drinks with them. I'd have cigars. We just hang out, talk, or just even like go for a run together. And I learned so much from these people who are really good at their craft. But I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life at that time. I was just like, I like fitness and I like talking to people. And I was like, what can I do with that? And at the time, like podcasting was like still relatively big, but I was like, yo, what if I could document this? Because I want to keep these conversations in like one spot and like go back to them and like, what did I learn from that guy? You know, in the actual conversation. And That's how it started.
That's really cool.
You know, and it's weird too. A lot of people don't talk to someone else for 2 to 3 hours long.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a very surface level most of the day. You know, like you could be in an entertaining conversation. It could be this and that, or asking questions like I'll ask you right now, like, what are you most excited for in your life right now? Mm-hmm. And someone would say at a bar, like, oh, like I'm so excited that my daughter's coming into town right now and I haven't seen her in so long, this and that. Or like someone would be like, I'm excited. I just got my citizenship from the United States, this and that. And I would ask like these people those questions, like these people I was training, and I was just curious and wanted to know more because I thought one way, you have to be a lawyer, doctor, whatever to be successful in life, because that's what was implanted in my head. And then like learning from all these other people, like, oh, you're making money baking bread on YouTube? You're making money? This other guy, he just quit his full-time job, and he was on the podcast the other day. All he does is make swords. He makes wooden swords for working out, and it's based on an anime show called Berserker. And there's this guy who's like the main character in the movie, and his name is Guts.
Hilarious.
And everyone who watches like wants to like wield the sword like Guts. That's what it is. And so this guy's having anime people from all over the world, Brazil, this and that, buying swords from him to work out every single day.
And the whole thing is wood?
Whole thing's wood. It's a 20-pound, it's like 8 feet long.
Oh, so it's like a strengthy thing.
Yeah, it's hard.
Whoa.
It's hard to pick it up.
Did he bring one?
Yeah, he brought 3.
Oh!
There was like 3 here. And he makes a full-time living off making sword content and selling swords.
I think that is so magical and cool that we live in a time where we can be like, I make sword content.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my chef buddies, and he was like, I was at this sentence is so funny. He goes, I was at my buddy's milk punch pop-up in Brooklyn the other day. And it was sold out when I got there. And I was like, how funny of a sentence is that man probably made $2,000 that day. Yeah. You know, like from milk punch that he probably got the recipe somewhere, like whatever. Yeah. But it's just we're in a time where so many things can make you money, and you can be successful making milk punch or wooden swords or whatever.
Or being a lawyer, doctor, all that stuff too, you know?
Which is still, I mean, so impressive.
Because like at UCLA, I lived with dentists, right? Like dental students.
Oh, I thought you said dentist. I was like, okay.
Dental students. And I'd wake up and there'd be like wisdom teeth in mason jars all over the place. I'm just like, this is dope. Like, and now they're just like making a full-time living just being in people's mouths all day. I mean, like, not for me, but like dope.
Are any of them your dentists?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know like dentists all over LA.
Wow, that's a flex.
No, it's also like, it was so weird because I was one of the youngest people like hanging out with them. I was just me and like 10 dentists at a bar one time.
Oh, because they're in dental school too, well, so they've already done. Okay, got it.
So I was in undergrad and they were in dental school.
Wow.
And I was just hanging with all these dentists. I'm just like,
do you know a lot about dentistry now?
So the funniest thing is I know like certain things called, so like calculus, like the math, it means like the hard plaque on your teeth, right? So like I would tell some people who are like brand new to dental school who would just meet like my roommates. I'd be like, oh, did you guys like scrape off your like calculus for the first time in a teeth cleaning? And like, did you do like your endo yet? Endo means your wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth extractions.
Scary.
No.
Do you still have your wisdom teeth?
No, I took them out. Sorry. Endo means crowns. So like doing crowns and that stuff. And so like I'd be just dropping these words and they're like, are you in dental school? I was like, no.
No, I just know a lot of dentists.
Yeah. So the podcast started with that. And then
that's so cool.
I got like my first couple sponsorships recently, the last like 6 months. And I was like, oh, this is possible.
It's all toothbrushes?
I wish. It's actually a dentist.
Sir. Love that.
But yeah, even like also talking to so cool people, like you're such a cool person. This is awesome. And I like learning, I wouldn't have known about the brown egg thing if I never even thought about having it on the podcast, right? Like, so, or you studying for your podcast as well. You wouldn't know like all those other things.
That's part of the reason I started it was because I was like, oh, I like looking this stuff up, but I would also like if somebody just kind of told it to me. Yeah. So maybe somebody else in the world wants that too.
100%. And you made it easier for someone, you know?
Thank you. That's the goal.
That's the value, right? And for me, I have a lot of fitness people on, a lot of like alcohol people on. I got a lot of dental students and shit like that.
such a wide
range.
swath of people. That's wonderful.
And the biggest one was a full circle. Is the guy who I looked up to, like, for fitness, like watching his stuff when I was 16, 17. I met him at a bar, like,
shut up,
at Lavo.
Oh my God.
And he was like, yeah, dude, I'm down.
What's his name?
It's Kevin Lowe.
Cool.
And yeah, he's such a cool guy. He's a normal person. But in my head, it's like one of my
yeah,
heroes.
he's like this big, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, if I didn't start talking to people on a microphone, I wouldn't have talked to one of my heroes, type of deal. And I was like, that's a win right there, regardless of any money that comes in.
That's very sweet.
You know? And the knowledge too. Like, knowledge is power, you know?
What's the best thing you learned from Kevin Lowe? Or what's something you didn't know before you talked to him or something like that?
Well, I think what I found out about myself after talking to him is, like, there's like a different level of self-belief. Like, you could say, like, I believe in myself, right? But do you though? Like, why aren't you at the spot that you believe you're capable of? Because, like, if you truly believed it, you would be there, type of deal. Kind
Damn.
of. It was deep in that psychological spot. I was like, oh, I actually don't believe in myself as much as I like to think I do. You know?
Damn, that's heavy.
And I was like, wow. Yeah, it was the first time it made me question my characteristics of what I thought who I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, Kevin Lowe.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was solid. Yeah.
That's amazing.
What are you most excited for in your life right now?
I am most excited for having guests come back on to Dead Dad's Kitchen, which you'll have to come on whenever that
dope.
does happen.
What would we cook?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I gotta start planning.
Planning. Isn't it cool too, like, planning shit?
I love planning. I'm a big planner.
Yeah, like, how do you plan?
I plan, like, on a day-to-day thing. If my friend's like, oh, let's get brunch in Santa Monica at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. It'll take me, I'm going to be, like, conservative and say an hour to get there.
Okay.
So I have to leave at 10, which means I have to start getting ready at 8:30, which means I have to get up at 7:30, which so, like, I backtrack.
Okay.
But in terms of, like, a larger picture kind of thing, like, I like to write. I've just recently started becoming, like, a calendar on paper girly.
Oh.
But I'm a big calendar girl. Like, I was using Google Calendars, but I like writing and I like having a pen and stuff.
I love it. I don't think I would go through life without a digital calendar. I don't think I could live. I don't think I could do all the things that
it's so helpful.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. And being able to, like, share invites and stuff, but I also like having a analog one just because if, you know, my phone's ever dead or whatever.
Yeah, screwed. I'm screwed.
Sorry.
I'm screwed if that happens. So that's how
Tricky.
you plan out?
Yeah. How about you?
I'm calendar too, but I'm also a list guy. So I write shit down and I cross shit off. Like,
Yeah, I love a list.
That's it. And the goal is, like,
Do you cross things off or do you check next to it?
no, I scribble it. So, like, I'll no. So it's like a drawing. I'll show you a little bit. So I do it, like, right diagonal all the way through, and then I do left diagonal all the way through, and then do circles all the way through.
Oh my God, that's so funny. One of my friends, Julie, growing up in middle school, shout out Julie Wynn, she did that too.
Yeah.
She did it.
Yes, that's it.
And you can't
Me
see.
and Julie
She's
need
like,
to meet.
She's like, that way you can't see anything. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So I do that, but so the calendar stuff, I fill it up and I do give, like, an hour gap in between.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I hate being late.
I hate being late.
And more than I hate being late, I hate, because being late says, I care more about my time than yours. I don't respect you.
Sure.
That to me is what being late is.
100%.
I don't respect you. I don't respect your time. Go fuck yourself.
Dang.
I mean,
one time I was at bar next door late, Irene was like, yo, my grandpa
I was giving you a hard time. That was true though. But I think that it is, you know, 5 minutes here or there with, like, a friend. Who cares? Oh, Juliet, I'll be at your house at, like, 12.
Dope.
If I'm there at 12:15, who cares?
Yeah.
But if it's like, hey, we're meeting somewhere at 12 and
To
it's a
do something,
thing,
yeah.
be there on time.
Sick.
But more than that, I hate feeling rushed. So if I thought my shift was at 5:30 and it's actually at 4:30, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate the feeling of, like, papers throwing up in the air. Like that scene in SpongeBob where he's, like, running all over the place trying to find the thing. I can't stand that feeling. So
Damn.
I will always give myself an extra. I would rather be 30 minutes early somewhere than like feeling like I'm not going to be there.
I think that's what people need to realize is that part is if you don't show up on time, you are disrespecting the other person's time.
You are.
Like objectively. That's what you're doing.
And if think about that, like if you're on a date with somebody and
always back to dating, guys.
Always. And they're late, how that makes you feel bad. And it makes you feel bad because they're saying, this wasn't that important to me.
Yeah.
And of course there are extenuating circumstances, whatever.
Car crashes.
Pardon?
Car crashes. Dog ate my homework.
God forbid. But like, it's that thing of like, here's something I hate so fucking much.
Let me hear it.
When people
That sounded good.
who live, are born and raised in, or have lived in Los Angeles for more than
a year,
5 months.
Yeah, that's
are like, oh, sorry, there was traffic. There is traffic
every day
at 5 p.m. on a Friday and at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
there's always traffic.
Yeah,
plan for traffic.
Yeah, and
if you didn't plan for traffic, you're either stupid or you're ignorant or you're like being intentionally silly. Oh, I hate it.
So I heard that there's a disease that people just, I forgot the name, but it's like you don't have a relationship with time. Like you could be doing something and it could feel like 10 minutes to you, but it's like been 3 hours.
Sure. I think, yeah, like for neurodivergent, like ADD, ADHD, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Obviously, that's not what I'm talking about, people.
Yeah.
It's when somebody who is perfectly capable of being on time chooses not to be.
Yeah.
Because it's also a choice.
It is a choice. Like
anyway.
you decided to take a shower when you could have just like cleaned up, done makeup, done real
100%.
quick and get out.
It just makes me so it makes me so mad.
Yeah, so one thing, the way that makes you feel is when I don't do something that I say I'm going to do.
Oh,
right?
tricky.
So, like, I was like, oh, Irene, we got to do a podcast. In the back of my head, so right when I get into the car, I write on a sticky note, podcast with Irene. And I'm like, someone else is like, Nate, we should go on a hike. And if I said yes, even if it was just like a reaction, I'm like, fuck. All right. Hike with Jennifer. And then like, it would be like, oh, you planned dinner with this guy. So I have probably a golf with Carrie. Like I have like a 60-person list weekly. And like I try to knock out like 10 each time, but it keeps adding. So
here's a question. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. So that's your internal thing. You're like, I said I would do it, I have to do it. I have a couple of friends that are like that.
Yeah.
If somebody cancels on you, does that bother you? Or are you like, oh, okay, whatever?
It is a whatever most of the time because
you're like, I don't have time for this anyway.
I have zero expectations of people.
Yeah.
Like, if you have zero expectations of people, I think I only expect that out of my closest friends, and then I would get hurt.
Sure.
If it's someone who's I'm not so close with, it's if you don't have expectations of people, you can't get hurt. Mm-hmm. You know, so like.
But so it's like it's very important to you to stick to the things you said. But if somebody else doesn't or cancels for whatever reason, good or bad, you're like, chill. Sure.
And if they do it multiple times, I'm like, you're not in my life anymore. That's really it.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so I don't know, that feeling that you said about the time is how I feel about that.
Interesting.
Know? And because that's you keeping your word. And like, I believe that's a huge characteristic. Mm-hmm. And if someone knows you or me as like someone who keeps their word, that's one of the biggest compliments, honestly, going back to that.
That's a great compliment to like.
Yeah. Do what you say you're going to do. Like that's the biggest thing. But it's hard sometimes. That's why I'm trying to like be really hard of like, if someone says something, I'll think about it and ponder and be like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Versus like being a yes man all the time.
That's something I've really been working on the past like 2-3 years of my life, because I've gotten in a lot of situations where I find myself being walked all over, trying to make myself small, whatever, doing things I don't want to do. And so for especially the past like 2 years, I've been really trying to be like, I'm done now. Like, well, you said, do you want to go to BJ's? I was like, not tonight.
Yeah.
And I have one of my girlfriends, Elizabeth, she'll come over and we'll like have our cute little hangout. We'll have a glass of wine. We'll have some little snacks. And then I'll be like, I'm ready for you to go. And she's like, okay, perfect. And she's like, thank you so much, because now I don't need to wonder, like, have I overstayed my welcome? Like, I know you're saying it out of, like, I've had a wonderful time and I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm just really trying to do. So if somebody, I don't know if you were there the other day, somebody came into the bar, really nice guy. We were having a great time, talking, whatever, being cute. And he was, and people probably think I'm like a cunt for this, but whatever. Like, he was like, oh, I wanted to, I think you'd really like this. I want to give you stickers for my band. And I said, that is so sweet, and I really appreciate the offer. I don't want these. I'm not going to do anything with them, and I don't know where to put them, and I don't want you to waste them giving them to me. I've loved hearing about your band. I've looked them up. I like your music. I don't need a sticker. Sorry.
What did he say?
He was like, oh my God, okay, thank you. I didn't want to waste a sticker. And I am so 100% positive that is very unattractive and seems mean to some people, and maybe it is, but I am trying to, like, not waste somebody's time, basically, not waste their time or energy on something that I'm not going to use. And I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah, I feel like it's like you are being most efficient with, like, their feelings.
Efficient. That's a great way to put it.
And you're trying to live your truth, because that is how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done hanging out. I don't want to go to BJ's. I don't want your sticker. But I love you. I think you're special.
That's such a good skill.
Well, I'm really trying to work on it, because I'm not always great at it. And when I can do it with somebody, like we just did about BJ's, that shows me, like, oh, I'm really comfortable with them. I can be honest. When I find myself being like, yeah, totally. That's when I'm like, oh, I'm trying not to do that, and I did that.
So what's a situation that you would tend to do that sometimes?
If, like, I've made a new friend and I don't really have time to prioritize them, but they're like, let's get coffee. And I'm like, yeah, totally. When I should be able to be like, I can't do that for 2 months.
Yeah.
I don't have the bandwidth for that.
Sure.
But like with my friend Elizabeth or with my friend Riley, I'm like, girly pop, I'm not seeing you till August. And they're like, great. And it's nice to be able to be that honest and like, and I'm grateful and so lucky to have people in my life that I can be that honest with. Like people that I've been friends with for years and decades, and people that I, just met a couple months ago, like you. So it's nice. I'm very happy.
Yeah. Isn't it weird for old friends? They've seen you like through every stage of your life, and you're just like, how are you still friends with me, bro?
Well, Juliet, my best friend in the whole world, who did the jingles, I got a lot of that from her. She is the queen of being like, no, thank you. No. Like, oh, do I want to go on a 3-day bachelorette trip that's going to cost me $1,500? I can't do that right now. But like, I'll buy you a bottle of wine. Like, love you.
I need to work on that.
It is because
the biggest thing are weddings. I was like, I don't know.
Well, I do think part of it is like being a woman. You have to be very, very strong in knowing that no is a full sentence. No, thank you.
So I need to be more like a woman. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Okay. Everybody should be.
Deal.
Man, woman, non-binary, whatever you identify as, everybody should take more female, like commonly female stereotypical characteristics. No is a full sentence is such a powerful thought.
Yeah. It's just like no, period. Done.
No.
We're done.
Do you want to go out with me? No. Do you want to hang out anymore? No. Do you want, whatever. Do you want to come on this trip? No. And that's the thing is like, it can be very, and I'm saying this as somebody who is very new to this idea. Sure. This is not, I've not always been this bitch. And I've always looked up to women who are, or people who are. And I have a friend named Stephanie who, it's one of my favorite things. I think it's one of the most powerful traits in the world. Somebody will come up to her and be like, I heard you were talking shit about me. She'll go, I don't like you. You want me to tell you what I said? And I'm just like, you're the coolest person on the planet. It's so impressive to be like, I said what I said. Wow. And what? I think it's so cool. She's incredible.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the truth, right? You can't get along with everybody.
You can't.
People have different perspectives than you do, and there's bound to be like, you guys different personalities. It's gonna match. It's like similar to dating.
Yes, absolutely. See, it always comes back to dating.
Isn't it weird that like for dating, you could do, it's more respectable or common or accepted to say just, oh no, like that's it, like, and it's clean cut versus like friendships or companionships, like
they're so tricky.
like that's not as accepted.
No.
It's like it's only your friend. Like at least like be nice about it.
Yeah. And that's another thing is I've gotten really positive and really negative responses when I've been dating somebody, you know, for a second, third date. And if they want to go, or if he wants to go out again, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm really flattered, but I'm not interested. I don't really see this going anywhere further. Some people are like, and that's something my dad always told me.
I would love to hear that over being ghosted
Dude,
any day.
that's what my dad told me that literally from when I was like a toddler. He was like, when you start dating people, boys, girls, whoever it is, if you don't like somebody and they like you and they ask, be honest. Don't pussyfoot around it. Don't bullshit.
Let's go, Dad.
Dude, fucking shout out Frank.
Dad. Come on, Frank.
He was so clear about that. He was like, every single person, if they're, you know, respectful in what all of the all of the respectable things, like if they've been kind to you, if they've, you know, whatever, if you've had a good experience with them, the least you can do is be honest. And I've had people really appreciate it and say, thank you so much. I've loved getting to know you. Best of luck in the dating pool. And I've had people be like, fuck you. I can't believe you said that, you stupid bitch.
Life lesson
and I'm
from
like, T.
Frank Walton.
Shout out, Frank.
That's crazy. Isn't it crazy the reactions that people have to that too? Yeah. It's so different. It's like, thank you so much or you're a fucking bitch.
And it's because the world that we live in, it is so common to be ghosted. So I think some people are expecting it, and honesty is like surprising and not comfortable for them, and that's fine. And everybody's reaction is their own reaction. If somebody calls me a stupid bitch, you're not the first. You won't be the last. And if somebody appreciates it, great.
Yo, you got like this bullet. Like, does anything get to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like when somebody asks for their coffee black and then I bring them black coffee and then they say, "Where's the cream?" I said, "That's not what you fucking asked for." You son of a bitch. That makes me mad.
Same thing with like cocktails. Like someone asked me for a Negroni, right? And they're like, "It's bitter." I'm like, "Yeah."
Mama, I don't like when people, now I know tipping is a whole conversation, but I don't like when people tip really poorly. I would rather you tip not at all.
Yeah.
Because when you tip not at all, I'm like, you either don't believe in it or you don't know that that's the custom, like in this
the US
situation.
Or like wherever. Like you think of best of it. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. That's not your vibe.
Yeah.
But if you tip like
5%.
I remember
6%,
vividly.
like
It was Christmas morning. I was working at a breakfast place years ago, and it was like a $300 tab. The whole family came in, and they tipped me $3.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, work. Got it. And I was like, you knew that there was a tip, but you didn't. Like, if I got nothing, I would have been like, cool, that they just don't know, or they just don't do that, or whatever. But that the little tip. But do things like actually get to me? Yeah, of course some stuff gets to me, but like not when it really like comes to like me.
Yeah, like regular life shit. It's like not that deep, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, you don't like me? Join the fucking club, dude.
Yeah. The tipping thing's weird.
Tipping's tricky. Are you a big tipper?
Yes and no. So like obviously I'm not gonna tip anything less than 15% at like a service place. That's kind of it. But I don't understand the tipping at like grocery stores and shit. Like,
there's tipping at grocery stores?
Not grocery stores. Like the other day I got, I forgot what it was. It wasn't like an appliance, or what did I get? I don't remember, but it was like something that you don't eat. And I was just like, and all I had to do was cash out at a register. And it was 18, 20, and 22%. I was like, what?
That's the other thing. When it does, it starts at like a super high
18,
one.
right? And so,
I've been to places where it goes 20, 22, 25.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Well, that kind of makes sense for like a really good service like area.
Sure.
Like I get that.
But that's also, if I'm eating at a place that deserves a fine dining establishment, I already know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess some people don't.
Isn't it weird in the United States too? Like I actually want to like surprise like a server or like someone if I had a great experience tipping like 30-40%.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And then like leaving the check and like slowly getting out of there type of deal. Versus like that's kind of like what I love about like the tip system here.
Yeah.
But everyone's starting to go to like the iPad and like the stuff like that.
I was just talking about this at the bar the other day.
But it's common in Europe. Like the reason why they aren't over here with that and they're not used to signing is when I was in Europe, there's no signing.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense actually, because the breakfast place, it's in a very like tourist populated area, so they'll probably 10 times a month people will be like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and I explain obviously, and I don't know if they're from a different place or they just aren't used to tipping or whatever, so I'm nice about it, but that makes a lot of sense if you just don't sign there.
Yeah, so everyone in Europe holds on to their card. Like, they never give it away to, like, print out receipts, this and that. It's always, like, they'll bring you an iPad, you'll tap it, and...
I gotta go to Europe.
Usually there's no tip on it.
Interesting.
Like, it's not a thing. Huh. Yeah. That's one thing that I did in Europe that was super cool, is, like, it's relatively affordable because you don't need a tip. And I believe they get paid a livable wage, though. Like, that's the thing. Like,
that's the other part of it.
That's the other part. And the one thing that I would do is, like, I'd show up to a hostel in, like, a backpack, and, like, there'd be, like, 5 or 6 people at the bar at, like, 2 a.m. And all the beers were, like, $3 to $5.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. So I'll get around for everybody just who's sitting at the hostel. And now you got 6 tour guides who have, like, been in that city for, like, the whole day. They're like, oh yeah, go to this museum, this and that. And that was a tangent, but yeah.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But the tipping thing, crazy.
I want to go to Europe.
You should. In terms of food wise,
yeah.
You know?
You're telling me.
What keeps you so on top of it in terms of just like, I want to create another video about some random piece of history or a crumb of history or just some funny thing that like is not needed but needed in the world. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's exactly why, is because I'm like, nobody's life, it is unlikely that anybody's life is going to change with this piece of information. So if I get it wrong, who cares? But if I get it right, that's a fun little thing somebody could... Because I love fun little things that you can just like...
Rant about.
Yeah, and be like if somebody brings up, just apropos of nothing, you're at a party and somebody's like, oh, my buddy has the Guinness World Record for da-da-da. You're like, oh my God, did you know Guinness is actually the same as the beer? And like it started from like trying to figure out bar bets. That's like a fun little conversation starter.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's always going to come back to connecting with people. And I think that that's like a fun, easy way to connect with people.
Yeah.
And
I got turned on by the cotton candy grapes.
Bitch. Can you believe how cool that was?
Yeah. And Bakersfield's like big, like compared to Fresno.
Dude. And so it's...
So many people talk shit about Bakersfield though. Like
I know. I'm sure. Yeah.
It's got a bad rap.
It does.
So does Fresno, but it's okay.
But I think it's so lovely I love small talk. I'm so tired of people being like, I hate small talk.
You love small talk? What do you love about it?
Oh my God, what don't I love about it?
I don't know.
It's well, I'm glad you asked. It's a way to connect with people. Not everybody wants to talk about their views on abortion immediately. Not everybody wants to talk about if the death penalty is good or not. Why not?
I feel like you don't need to talk about that, though.
Yeah, but like...
Is that the only thing
the opposite of the opposite of small talk is maybe stuff people don't want to talk about. Maybe they don't want to talk about their relationship with their parents. Maybe they don't want to talk about their interpersonal relationships. And you shouldn't have to. You should be able to talk about fucking if you knew that brown eggshells are the same as white. I don't know. I just think that like small talk is a way to connect with people. And how do you connect with somebody? How do you get to the deeper conversations if you don't have an introduction, you know, into like who that person is, what they like to eat, where they like to go?
We need to get a shirt that says anti-small talk club.
Dude.
No.
Anti-deep talk club. I don't know. I just think that small talk is...
small talk club.
Yes.
There we go.
I just think small talk is a beautiful way to connect with people. And I think that the pod has little bits and bobs to do that with.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that like so many people just normalize the saying of like, I hate small talk?
Yeah, it makes me furious.
Yeah. But
I'm like, cool, what are you doing when you get to a party? You are small. Everybody small talks. Hi, what's your name? Small talk. Yeah. Oh, what do you do? Small talk. Great.
Yeah. You're great at small talk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Are you afraid of having conversations?
No, it's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. Like I feel like you don't hesitate at all.
Thank you.
Because like I like
Are you?
No, but I read the situation of like, does this person want to talk to me? And then if it's like kind of like I'll read it and be like, okay, it seems like the person is open. I'll ease my way in, and then like every conversation out of a bar, I choose to have.
For sure.
Like
when you're at the bar, or when you're bartending, like when
both.
you're imbibing, or okay.
Both. Like I could be the guy at the bar who's just sitting and observing everybody, right? But I guess being a bartender too, like if I decide to have a conversation with you, it's either small talk and then I'm not talking to you and just like, if you need anything, I'm there to help.
For sure.
Or two, like I will know you very well by the end of it. And that's usually it, even when I'm busy.
If someone does, you are very good at that. I think you're very good at reading the room and like reading a customer. If somebody doesn't want to talk to me, I won't talk to them.
Yeah.
But if I even get the inkling that they do, I'm like, what's up?
Yeah.
If I feel like it, if they're
Sure.
not like creepy or weird or whatever.
Like some of my best friends are customers who've walked into the bar.
Yeah?
And I've been like friends with them for like 6-7 years.
Who's your closest friend that you met while you were bartending? They came into your bar.
This one older gay therapist man.
Incredible.
His name is Gary.
Gary.
Gary, he lives in San Diego.
What bar were you at?
I was my first bartending job was CPK.
You were a CPK bartender?
I was a CPK
Was
bartender.
everybody at CPK sleeping with each other?
Yes.
I've never... Actually, never mind.
No, you got to finish it now. You brought it up.
I was going to say I've never worked at a place where it was like, oh, everybody sleeps together. But I sort of have a little, but never like CPK level.
Yeah. Is CPK level known? Is that known?
I mean, it's just like, I feel like a chain restaurant where like everyone is relatively the same demographic of like young adults, bartending, serving, working late hours. Like, I feel like that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, so this guy came in and we just hit it off and we just started talking about like life. And I got his number and then one day I just like hit him up.
Do you remember his drink order?
Yeah, a Grey Goose dry martini with 3 olives. Yeah.
Love.
And so that's what I did. I hit him up. I was like, he gave me my number. I was like, hey, Gary, it's Nate. I don't know if you remember me a year ago. Like, you came sat down at my bar at UCLA at CPK. You ordered a Grey Goose martini with 3 olives. I just want to let you know I started this bitters company, and I'd love for you to try them. Is there any way they could send
God.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And he was like, yeah, of course, send him out. And then, like, every time I'm in San Diego, I would go play pickleball with him and his husband.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
For my first bartending job.
Shut up.
You know?
Isn't that fun? I love the look somebody gives you when you remember their order.
Yeah.
It's like a little high. Like, it's like, they're so happy.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so nice. You're like, oh, shot a mezcal and a blue moon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, of course I remember Damien.
Yeah.
Duh.
Isn't that a weird skill that we have?
I think it's like a superpower.
Yeah. And it's crazy with food. If you remember the whole food order.
Oh, bitch.
So like this guy came in and he was like, you're normal? And he was like, what do you mean by normal? And I was like, you want 2 Peronis, right? With chicken Parmesan with this and that. And he was like, what the fuck?
It's so sweet because that's all anybody ever really wants, right? It's to feel special and to feel seen. And like when somebody who you see how often they come in CPK? Once a month?
Yeah.
But like that's like their special little time, and then you get to make them feel so much more. What a treat.
Yeah, what
That's
a
so
fucking
magical
treat.
that we get to like give that to somebody.
Yeah. Because some of the people who come into these bars and stuff,
They need it.
they don't get the attention that they deserve and that anyone deserves, right? Everyone should get that feeling sometime.
Well, somebody came in the other day, they were a social worker, and I was like, wow, what you do is really important. And they like it didn't well up physically, but you could just tell they were like,
Thank you.
nobody said that in a while.
Yeah.
And like I got their drink and stuff and whatever, and it's just like so cool to be somebody who sees somebody who might not get that feeling all the time.
Yeah, I think that's the importance of hospitality.
100%
I think that's when everything's going to technology, AI, all this shit. The human aspect is the most important, right? It's like anytime you're happy, what do you want to do? Tell someone. Anytime you're sad, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Tell someone.
Well, and I'm so fucking. We all have our bad days. We all have bad customers. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I realized I never asked if I can curse on this podcast.
Oh, of course.
Sorry. Fuck you. I'm so sick and tired of people being like, I fucking hate these because I hate people. Da, 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 da. Then don't be in the service industry.
Yeah.
Of course, we have bad days. You have bad customers. You have bad experiences.
Yeah.
That's normal. But like,
this is your choice, dude.
You should be going into your day being like, oh, I'm gonna like make drinks for people. I'm gonna bring food to people.
Yeah.
Great. What makes me so upset when people are like so over it and mad and like, you're in a literal industry called hospitality.
Yeah. It's ironic because they don't see all the pros. Like, I know you're having a bad day, right? And you're talking all this shit about it. And you talk about it all the time. But you also don't talk about, like, oh, I could get work off whenever the fuck I want to go on vacation.
Well, and
or
also,
this and that.
there is, like we were talking about earlier, like, lawyers and doctors, these jobs are so important and they're so special. But there is such a beauty in us going into work and being like, I'm not going to save a life if I call in sick. Like, nobody's going to be worse off truly if I'm not there today.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be fine, and that's a real relief. A neurosurgeon doesn't have that, like, privilege.
Dang, I think you're convincing me to call off more. I've never called off.
Really? Yes, you do.
No.
Wait, you mean like just not go in?
Yeah, like something happens, right, and I feel kind of under the weather, but if I'm super sick.
Oh, for sure. I see what you mean.
But like, if someone's like, hey dude, I got this like crazy date for you, blah blah blah, I was like, sorry dude, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Or
like think about that. Like, when we've had people call off or whatever, not just at our bar, but like anywhere that we've worked, like, yeah, it's a little crazier for a couple hours. And it's annoying, or it's not. Yeah. But like,
it's not life or death.
If I didn't go into my job today, literally nothing would have changed. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
I like to think that I like bring some light and whatever. But aside from that, like, realistically, those tables would have gotten taken care of. They would have eaten. They would have had a nice time.
Yeah, I saved like 3 people called off at the same time though.
I mean, yeah, but
chaos.
We're hoping that that's not the vibe.
Hopefully not, right?
But then also, like, you and I are both business owners in our own regard of small businesses and whatever. But that's also why I wouldn't want to own a restaurant necessarily.
No,
because it's like
scary.
Oh, 3 people called off? Yeah. I have to close? That's this much I'm like... That
sounds awful.
That's crazy.
Sounds awful.
I can't vibe with that.
Do you have red flags when it comes to like orders from a date? Like,
oh, yeah.
Give me some.
Oh, this is like... Okay. But here's the tea. This ties in with my biggest pet peeve in the whole world.
Okay.
Which is...
Are you going to start with the biggest pet peeve in the whole world?
My biggest pet peeve in the whole world is when a restaurant or bar has like funny, cutesy names for things.
Okay.
I don't want to say that I'm going to order the kooky, crazy, old town fashion. Like, I don't want a funny drink name. I love the bar, Villanova. Yeah. Great. Beverly Hills Hotel. Cool. It's not like the nuts, not your grandfather's old fashioned. Yeah. Stupid. Don't do that. Anyway.
I could hop on that.
I just think it's so annoying. So when a man orders like a kooky name thing,
it's not even the thing.
No, oh no. If I am very, I have a lot of weird icks. Yeah. I will admit that for sure. Like, you know,
like 50 Shades of Grey icks or what?
What do you mean?
Are icks kinks or no?
No.
Okay.
Wait, did you actually did you not know this?
No, I didn't.
You thought icks and wait. Everybody shut up. Don't say anything to him. You thought icks.
No, I didn't.
And kinks were the same thing.
I just kind of interpreted it as the same thing right now. It sounded like the same usage. All right. Continue, please.
Exact opposite.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's hilarious.
We're moving on.
But yeah, like, I just don't like the ordering process. I personally like a man to like order for me after I've told him what I want. Like, I don't want him to be like, she'll have the salad. Like, I like to say like, oh, I want this. And then when the server comes over, I like to be like, him say it all.
Okay. So just the weird names.
Just weird names. But I also, and it's funny because I mean, I guess not necessarily when it comes to drink, because I want people to enjoy what they like. So like if a guy does like love a pina colada, I'd be like, okay.
Dude, my dad loves vodka pineapple all the time.
Oh my god.
Honestly,
love that.
It's hilarious. He's like, I love my vodka pineapple. Can I get a vodka? We'll be at Vegas and we'll be sitting at like a table. I'm like, can I just get a whiskey straight and Red Bull? And my dad be like, can I get a vodka pineapple, please? Actually, like an espresso martini. I'm like,
those are so different. Do you have like icks when it comes to somebody ordering on a date?
Yeah, I think really messy shit. I'm just like, I'm trying to have a conversation and a date with you right now, and
you're so if they ordered like a pulled pork sandwich, you'd be like,
yeah, it's
right.
like, And I'm just like, whoa.
Have you been in that situation?
Not many times, but yeah, a couple
Damn,
times.
T.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. I feel like I always go into dates full. Because I'm not trying to eat like gnarly.
I'm not trying to like have my meal
Yeah.
unless it's like a date with a real partner, like your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever. But yeah, if I'm going, and I'll tell you what I do. I think the best first date is just drinks.
I disagree.
What do you think the best first date is?
Okay.
Okay. If you say a hike, I'm leaving.
It's definitely a hike.
I'm gonna go.
You gotta look at their butt the entire time on the way up.
Ew, disgusting. Hate that. Everything about that is bad. Terrible.
No, I think coffee is better.
Why?
Because it's cheap enough to where, like, if the girl or the guy, wherever you're at, or the whoever.
Or the person.
Doesn't vibe, right? They're like, oh, I'm really busy. I got to go. And it's like a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Right? And like, what are you going to do at night? Oh, yeah, I got to go to sleep because I got to wake up early tomorrow.
That's a good point.
You can't get out of it.
Okay.
2, the cocktail, if you're going to a nice spot, it's like around $25. You're like, damn, this person.
I'm now $50 in the hole.
And $50 in the hole. And like, I don't want him to pay, but I kind of do want him to pay because it's expensive. So I'm going to stay and give him the courtesy of time for me to listen. So that's why I don't think it's the best date.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good take.
Yeah. For people who smoke, I believe hiking is the best date. Because I got to prove it to Irene now, guys.
Okay. You have clearly not
finish.
gone on dates with sweaty bitches. No, sir.
I love a good sweaty bitch. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you say that around you, then you haven't dated a sweaty bitch. I know that for sure. Because the type of sweaty that I am is not the like, oh, I love that.
Bet.
You like a glistening bitch. You don't like a red-faced. You like.
That's so hot. Oh my God.
Ew, no, it isn't. You're such a bullshit artist. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here. Yeah, that's fair. I get it. Maybe on like a cold day.
If the hike is at literally 7 a.m., fine.
Yeah, who's waking up at 7 a.m. for a date though?
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you have to really like the person you're waking up like before 10.
Yeah, that's true.
But you like waking up early anyway.
I like waking up early. But that's the gag is like, I won't go on a hike with somebody because I like to put myself together. I like to look what I think is my best. Because it's not just like to present myself in a way that I like and like, but it's like a grounding moment for me in the morning to take 25, 30, 45 minutes to get ready, to look what I think is my best. And that gives me more confidence and da-da-da. And on a hike, I'm not going to wear fucking makeup. Yeah. So like for the first few times, I want to look like as put together as I can.
Yeah, not
because it makes me feel good. Pardon?
Not melting face.
Not melting face because I'm not going to wear makeup when I'm working out or going on a hike or whatever. And so it's like, I'm not going to sweat in front of you. Okay. There's so much sweat.
All right, we both win.
Okay.
What do you call it? What does creating food content and the things that you do for you? Like what does it do for you?
Oh, it brings me personally so much joy to get to share my love for food through my dad's recipes, my mom's recipes, my own recipes. Testing other people's recipes. It's nice to just interact with food because it's my favorite thing to do. But then also it brings me, some of the comments I've gotten have truly brought me to tears by just how beautiful they are and how sweet they are. It's like,
can you say one of them?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, one of the funniest ones that was like a hate comment was, I bet her dad's not even dead. And I was like, wow, people are crazy.
Yo, people on the internet are wild. I was like, say that to my face, bro.
Truly.
Say it one time.
Yeah.
Catch these hands. Catch this elbow that I can't break a tin open with.
The shade of it all. But one of this, like,
if you guys were here long enough to get that reference, then you're true.
Then wow, you're really,
one.
You're vibing. One of the sweetest and I've gotten a couple of these from different people, where it's like, this video was the reason I started cooking after my dad passed away. And I'm like, oh. And so stuff like that'll make me cry. And then some people say like, you're my comfort YouTuber, which is really special to me because I have a lot of comfort shows that I watch that like I feel at peace watching, even though I've seen it 50 times. I've seen it the whole series 6 times, whatever. So
you got
like
very comforting energy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And so that's really special. Those always like make me really happy. I'm really lucky. I would say 98% of the people that watch and interact with my stuff are so sweet. So I'm very grateful for that.
Fuck yeah. So it generally just comes down to a people thing.
Oh yeah, it always comes back to people, but everything does.
Yeah, but even more so, I guess you're experiencing like somewhat. Obviously, you still have the restaurant jobs, but like you're doing something that you love and it's generating some sort of like money from like that. That's the coolest thing, that having some people on the show is like that's so uncommon to most people.
Yeah. Well, we definitely live in the hub for it for sure. Like, I don't think there's too many people making wooden sword content as they're living, you know?
Probably he's the only one, probably.
Yeah. And like doing that, I feel like I mean, that's the gag about Los Angeles, right? Is everybody's like, nobody has a real job. And it's kind of true. Like a lot of, like my best friend's a witch.
Wait, what?
My best friend's a medium and a songwriter. She's a psychic. It's crazy. And like, I have another friend who, you know, she does food content also. And she does that like forever. Da, da, da. So it's like this guy's a sword guy. You do podcast and training and all this stuff. So a lot of people have these cool little pockets that they've found.
I think that's what I love most about LA. Like, I don't feel any judgment here, really, most of the time.
Yeah.
It's because, everyone's just trying to be them.
Everyone's just vibing.
Fully authentic themselves.
Yeah.
Doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And, like, obviously, they got to do some job that they might not like to pay for the things that they do like to do, right? Because most of the time is, I don't know, you got to pay for the mic to start your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You got to pay for, like, maybe a camera or a phone or this and that.
Exactly.
And you're putting something up front. And it's just a weird concept of, like, I'm going to speak into a camera with no one else watching and cook food and talk about this and then bring so much value to the world. Ain't that a concept?
I mean, you can only hope so. So it's definitely, but yeah, it's like, it's cool to be like, I'm literally investing in myself. You invested in yourself with this, you invest in yourself with these mics, with your bitters. Like, you have to put something forward. And it's a nice reminder to be like, I've spent $10,000 like doing something that I love and continuing to do it.
What do you think the importance of doing that is? Like, actually doing it?
I think that of doing the thing or putting the money down.
Isn't it the same thing? Like,
for sure. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Don't you have to put the money down in some cases?
Yeah. And I think that our brains work in a way that's like
because
sometimes
there's no guarantee. There's like zero guarantee that anybody's gonna like vibe with 100%. What you're putting out there.
Yeah. I think that sometimes our brain needs a tangible thing to be like, okay, well, I have to do it now. I've now paid $2,000 for a computer to edit on. I've learned how to edit. I need to do this. Somebody's going to have to like it. And I'm going to make something I think people will like.
Is that
and more importantly, what you will like.
Is that what goes on in your head? Like, is that the conversation that you have?
It probably was in the beginning, but now I'm just like, I want to make shit that I would want to watch and that I think is funny and chill.
Back to being a fan of your fucking self.
Dude,
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Well,
and I always appreciate people's art too. Like, what do you think art and creativity do for the world?
I think that that's all the world is, really, as people.
Explain.
Because I think it's easy to get caught up if you're maybe somebody who does a very businessy job or whatever. Like, let's say you're an accountant at an insurance place. You're going to be doing stuff creatively because you're going to have to find a creative way to get this person to answer your email, to give you the thing. Like, I think there's creativity and there's art in everything. And I think that that's what makes the world go round, because that's what connects people is finding a creative way to get them to reply to your email, to give you money, to pick you over somebody else for a bartending job. Like it's all what it is. And I think that it's so important to the world because the world wouldn't run without human connection. And you need that little bit of like creativity or spark or art or whatever to facilitate that.
Back to small talk. Like, I feel like art and stuff like that gives you something to talk about.
Yeah. You know? Oh my God. Did you see the Sphere in Las Vegas? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Oh my God, it was a basketball yesterday.
Yeah. And the history part too, because a lot of shit can get lost in history.
Yeah.
And for someone to pay attention to it and bring it back to life and like circle back around, it becomes more valuable the further away it is from it. You know, so you're bringing up, I don't know, the Hollywood girls, their diets.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Wow, you really listen to a lot of these.
Yo, I pay attention.
That's very nice.
I'm telling you, I'm a huge fan after like I was trying to do research on Irene. I'm like, I don't know what about food, this and that. I was like, yo, this shit's dope.
But see, I think you're exactly right because like, you know, obviously this is not what this saying was made for, but to make it a little bit smaller, food history is history, and history like is bound to repeat itself if we don't learn about it and talk about it. And I think that saying is for much larger and more important.
Sure, like wars and shit
and
like that.
The Holocaust, like things like that.
Yeah.
But food history is a really big part of our lives, and I think that it's interesting that, you know, so many things came out of the fucking World's Fair of 1894, and like we got Hershey's and America's first serial killer and fucking Heinz ketchup, all in that same Chicago area.
What a fucking treat.
You're telling me.
I thought Hershey's was Pennsylvania.
Hershey's was Pennsylvania, but he found out about chocolate from the World's Fair, and that's where he got his first bit of equipment.
Let's go.
It's so cool.
Sorry, I'm trying to debate like someone who knows everything about food.
No, I know a modicum about food, and I am excited to learn more about
That's
it.
dope.
But yeah, that's that.
What would be your last meal?
Oh my God, so glad you asked. So, if it can be anything in the world like materialized, it would be my dad's spaghetti and meatballs. It'd be a frozen margarita that my mom made. It would be probably a warm chocolate chip cookie and probably some bread, warm bread.
With the spaghetti. Ooh. Let's go.
Oh, or like Carbone spicy vodka sauce too. That would be in there.
Everyone always talks about Carbone spicy vodka sauce. Is it really that good?
It's fucking very yummy.
Yeah, like everyone talks about it. Everyone who's ever gone there has only talked about that.
It's great.
They
also come out. They're like antipasta that comes out like with like when you sit down. Their little bread basket is wonderful. Comes with like fresh mozz, some salami, some bread. It's great. Carbone was great. It was really fun.
There's one out here, right? No.
No, there's a Rayo's out here.
Okay.
Is maybe what you're thinking.
Carbone's
That's also
just in New York, right? Where else? Vegas?
I think there's one in Vegas.
Yeah.
There might be one in Toronto, but there's definitely like one in Vegas and one in New York. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was great. I had a boyfriend who our whole thing was like going out and eating. It was awesome.
I feel like that's like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like dates. Like I have friends who their only date night is going out to eat.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the food is such a medium for entertainment, like with friends and this and that.
That's why I love food so much is food is there for everything. Because you need it. You need it to exist. But also like it's there when you celebrate a wedding, a baby shower. There's always got to be food. It's there for the shitty parts of life too, where there's funerals. You're going to have like a reception, sandwiches, whatever.
Yeah.
There's always going to be food. Over a date, you're going to a restaurant. Like, it's so beautiful and universal, and everyone, like, that's the first thing I thought when you said your mom was Filipino. I was like, damn, food in that house is probably so good.
Yeah, it's gas.
Yeah. And I've actually, I don't know if I've ever like had specifically Laotian food. Is it Laos?
Laotian, I think.
It is, right?
I don't know. My mom's not technically, she's from there, but she mostly cooks Vietnamese and Chinese food.
Wait, I thought you said your mom was Filipino.
No, my mom's from
your mom
Laos.
is from Laos. Okay, and your dad's Filipino.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I messed that up earlier.
Right. She knows to make Filipino food too.
But like, that's the first thing you think. Like when I find out that my buddy is, from Ethiopia, I'm like, damn, that bread.
Yo,
that's
isn't it crazy that there's so many dope types of bread?
Yeah. Well, it's like one of the most ancient foods. Like it's written about in the Bible and shit, and it's written about way before that. But
I love bread and butter. Like bread and butter's.
Dude, the CPK bread and butter, fucking nectar, dude. I love it. My mom loved that she loved because we don't go to CPK anymore, but that would be like my birthday dinner was we would go to CPK, and she would be like, can we get 3 plates of the bread and butter? Because it's so delicious.
So nectar.
It is nectar. I'm bringing nectar back.
I need to use nectar. The other day, this girl who I was hanging out with, she said bubblegum. That's so bubblegum. And I'm like,
I love her.
I was like, I got to use that.
That's amazing.
That's so bubblegum.
I'm using that for sure, dude. Oh, that's hilarious.
What age were you when your dad passed?
17. I just turned 17.
What was the feeling when he was gone?
Awesome. Loved it. It was fucking terrible. It was the worst feeling of my life.
I know. Like, I'm just trying to...
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Sure. Now, I was trying to, how does... Because, I haven't... That never happened to me.
Great.
And...
I wish it never does.
And, I don't know what it is to, lose a parent. Right?
I mean, it's well, depending on your relationship with your parent. I'm coming from a place where my dad and my mom are both my dad was my best friend. My mom is my literal best friend.
Sure.
It's it's a incredibly deep, empty hole that will never be filled ever again in your whole life. Yeah. And there's a little bit of beauty in that, and okay, this will never feel better. It'll get less intense. But I'll never be like, oh.
Yeah.
I've had friends that, we had friendship breakups that broke my heart.
Sure.
But, years and years later, I'm like, oh, thank God. That was for the best.
Yeah.
This is never going to be a thing that's good.
But it's such a certain tragedy or certain experience that is guaranteed to every single human being. Yeah. That they will lose a loved one sometime in their life, And... I've lost a few friends and family members, and it's just weird that you have this experience, this human experience with someone, and they're just gone. You're just like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, it's so intense, and it's indescribable, and it's also at its very core, it simply fucking sucks. And it's there are millions of beautiful poems and songs and literature and essays and things that have been written about loss and grieving, and it's been put in so many beautiful ways, but at the very end of it, it's oh, this is just the worst.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. And I've had hundreds of conversations with people. Ew, what was that noise?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ, that was gross. Anyway, thanks for listening. I've had hundreds of conversations with people
just specifically rewinding to that.
100%. About people with people who have lost their parents in the same way I did, super suddenly and really tragic, and then over 10 years where they were sick and and no matter what the overarching feeling is that's terrible.
Yeah.
Again, this is coming from a very privileged place where I loved my dad and we were very close.
Yeah.
There are some people who are I'm happy my fucking dad died. Yeah. And you're just well, that's your truth and that's your life. Great. So I'm saying this from a place that's from that's my experience.
After that experience happened, do you think about death more frequently?
Yeah. Which has really negatively impacted my obsessive compulsive disorder. But, what are you going to do? It's a story for a different time.
Negative in what way?
Negative in that I think about it constantly all the time.
I think about it all the time, but I think it's super healthy.
Yeah, mine isn't healthy.
Yeah. I think of it...
Mine manifests itself in a lot of really weird rituals and all that bullshit.
Oh. Dope.
It's sick.
Or not. I don't know.
No, just like OCD. So anyone who's listening with OCD will be I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think about it in the way of just it's trite. Life's short and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I mean it is silly, and as somebody who loves Drake, I'm sure you're gonna understand this. It's
I don't even know one Drake lyric.
It really is you only live once. And I know you have that tattooed on. Do you have tattoos?
No, 0.
Me neither.
I'm a fuck. You have 0?
I don't even have my ears pierced. I don't know why I said it like a baby. Okay. I didn't even have my ears pierced.
I got my ears pierced.
How old are you when you got your ears pierced?
Do you want to know why I got them pierced?
No. Just how old you were.
20?
Yeah, why'd you get your ears pierced?
Story for a different day. I don't want to talk about it.
I stopped caring.
She was like sick.
I was like, all right.
Nah, it was like I was reading like a pickup book at the time. Me trying to be like a
pickup artist
as a 20-year-old kid
with mystery.
Yeah, with mystery.
Were you reading Mystery's book?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
It's Neil Strauss's book. Yeah.
Where is it?
Up there somewhere.
Oh my God! So you did like negging and peacocking and all that.
Yeah, I grew my hair out super long. That's what I showed you.
Wait, I've never seen a picture of your hair super long.
I'll show you after. It was like past my shoulders, and I would wear Hawaiian
shirts. You've got great hair.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's one compliment that I get on a daily basis now. Well,
because you have great hair, period, and you also do it very well, so it's like very noticeable.
Yeah.
In a super positive way. Of just like, damn. It's sort of like, to me, it's sort of like your makeup, because it's like, I'm sure it's a thing that you do in the morning. If it makes you feel put together.
Yeah. Actually, I never do my hair except for going into work.
Oh, no way.
Except for going to a bartending job.
Well,
I usually just wear hats.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's because it's a lot. I don't know.
How long does it take you to do your hair?
5 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Damn.
I got it down.
Nice.
I got it down. It's like, yeah, it could be like the makeup thing though. I was like, is this how girls feel when they have to put on makeup?
Well, I would say 90% of the time, I really love getting ready. I love putting myself together. It
feels like a princess.
Yeah, it feels very grounding, and it's very like, I have 35 minutes with myself. I'm putting time, because it is literally you being like, I'm doing this for me. And I'm giving myself that gift of like something just for me. Be if I have to wake up early, if I can do it in my own time, whatever, I'm going to do it. I don't wear makeup every single day, but like when I do, it feels nice. But yeah, I'm sure it's the same thing when you're doing your hair. You're like,
you could get creative and put freckles on it. I can't do that with the hair.
Well, you could do it in like a different way. You could spike it up. You could get a faux hawk. I bet you had a faux hawk. Did you have a faux hawk?
I definitely had a faux
hawk. Hell yeah, you did.
I had all these crazy hairstyles. I had a faux hawk. I had a man bun. To where like I shaved the sides off.
Oh, I dated a guy who had that. Oh, I love that hair. I still love that hair. I'll still see him in and be like,
Really?
Well, if they have nice hair.
I look back at it, I'm just like,
I do not, my personal preference, I do not rock with somebody who has like a teeny tiny man bun. I'm like, you gotta have the hair for it.
The hair. Yeah.
If you don't have it yet, just don't put it up yet. But when a guy, like my ex-boyfriend had beautiful, thick, curly, long hair that was like down to here, and he put it up, and he had like a little undercut, and it looked, he was very handsome, so it looked great.
Turned on.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I feel like I appreciate good-looking dudes just as I appreciate like good-looking girls for sure.
Dude, yeah, because it's like nice.
I was like,
it's like looking at like a cheetah. You're like, that's beautiful.
Like when a gay guy compliments me and like hits on me, I'm just like, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go. It's not like I want to fuck you, dude.
But it's just like somebody noticed I'm pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Love that.
Honestly, I've gotten more numbers like at the bar from gay dudes than like straight women for sure. I feel like that makes sense actually.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Especially in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's not that exciting anymore, guys.
It's so fun to get numbers. It's so fun to be like,
yeah.
They're cute.
Where do you think all this comedic jokes and stuff came from?
My daddy.
From your dad?
Yeah. My mom has a phenomenal sense of humor.
Yeah.
But she is funny in the way where it's like, she just exists and is so herself that it's funny. She's not like, I'm going to make jokes and like tell a story that I think will get a laugh. My dad was very much that way.
She's the type of person to do something funny and not know why.
Yeah. Like, and she just has the best sense of humor. Like I was just talking about this the other day. There are a couple videos on YouTube, like SNL skits or, whatever, that will make her laugh until she cries every single time she sees him, no matter how much. And it cracks my brother up so much just to see her laugh so hard at something that is so funny.
Yeah.
But it's funnier watching her love it.
Sure.
And my dad was like, he was an actor, he was a comedian, he, did improv. He was like so like classically funny. And he told me this from the minute I was born, pretty much. And I'm sure it fucked me up a little bit mentally.
For everyone out there listening, please tell Irene that she has to do comedy because she's fucking hilarious, dude.
I've done stand-up and I'm terrible at it. But thank you.
Just gotta do it again.
But he told me, he always said to me, you cannot teach funny. Somebody can study enough and be smart. Yeah. Somebody can do, practice enough violin and be great at violin. You cannot teach funny. You can teach a punchline joke. You can teach your setup, punchline, whatever. But being funny is not teachable. And so to me, that was always like, that's the only thing that matters. And that's like carried over into my dating life and into my regular life, as I'm like, oh, he's not funny, so I don't care.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's tricky.
So that's like, it has to be on the checklist of like, ooh.
Yeah. Yep,
I feel like humor is like one of the most underrated values.
Do you think it's underrated?
I think so.
Interesting. Why do you think that?
When people talk about dating, at least in LA, at least the gal friends, the friends who I have who are girls, they're just like, I want a dude who's rich. I want a dude who's ripped.
Oh, I want a dude who's rich.
ripped. But they never talk about,
I don't care about ripped.
Okay.
I love a dad bod.
They don't talk about like humor that much. Like usually
that's crazy to me.
Humor would be like fifth on the list usually.
That's crazy.
It's like he's really good at hugs. He's a physical touch. Or, oh my God, he affirms me all the time. Like,
I mean, those are all super important.
Great.
But like, I don't need to know that shit until we're dating, and I won't date you unless
you're
I've
funny
laughed.
as fuck.
Like I went on, I don't know if it was a date or not, but I went on something.
We've had this conversation.
My maybe date. And I hadn't laughed that hard in like in months and months and months. And I was just like hard eyes just because like I was laughing so hard.
Do you think an occasion is a date if the word date was never said?
It can be.
Yeah. But it just makes...
I like to be asked on a date.
Yeah.
I like to, would you go on a date with me? Would you like to go to dinner with me? Like, I like when it's very clear if it's a date. That's why it's tricky.
I'd be like, yo, we should go dinner sometime. But like, that's still not saying that's a date. I'm like, is this a date?
But it's also tricky because like based on the context, like if you were like, oh, we should go to dinner, I'd be like, lit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it was a date because like we're friends.
Sure.
Unless you're secretly in love with me, which let me know. But but yeah, like
will do.
but it's also like the vibe of the question. Like if somebody was like, I'd really like to take you to dinner, I'd be like, oh, that's a date. If somebody was like, oh, we should get dinner.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, we're going to dinner, like you should come. Well, not a date. Or if I even have to think about taking my card out, not a date.
Really?
Of course.
Yo, the other day, this is not the other day, this is like 8 months ago probably. When I opened a door for a girl and she was like, I could open my own door. And I was like, sick. Like,
see, it's tricky because
and I was like, you want to buy all your food too? Like, deal. Sounds good.
It's tricky because, and she is so absolutely allowed and entitled to that vibe for herself. But I feel like somebody might have that experience and be like, I'm never opening a door for somebody again.
Yeah.
And that's upsetting because I want my door open.
100%, right?
I'm not paying for my food.
Yeah.
For a while. But yeah.
I mean, I get that, but...
It's tricky.
Yeah. That's a weird dichotomy in that aspect.
It's also like, I am also, and maybe that woman's been through a bunch of weird stuff and doesn't like that. And that's totally fine and that's her right. But also I think that like, I'm somebody that like, anyone who opens a door for me, I'm like, oh, thank you.
Sure.
That's nice.
I'll open up a door for a guy.
Yeah.
And be like, thanks,
and
man.
like if my
welcome.
girlfriend picks up lunch, it's like, okay, great. Like
sick.
it's just not that energy for me. But like some people it is. And maybe she's been in a lot of situations where somebody's opened a door for her and then they think she owes them something. So she's like, I don't want to fucking deal with this.
I mean, that's the whole law of reciprocity, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you do something for someone else, they're like inclined to be like, what the fuck can I do back? Also, there's some people who don't give a fuck. Like I bought this one coworker I know who was struggling. He just moved to LA, like dinner. Every time we went out and like usually like people will Venmo. I never Venmoed him. But I think it was like 10 times. He's just like, 10th dinner. I'm like,
you're like, all right,
I'm done
cool,
buying
dude.
you dinner, man.
Yeah. And it's like, it is the thing where it's like
the freeloader vibe.
Yeah, and there are some friends that I've paid for dinner 3 times and they pay the next one and then we do something and that's when I don't notice. But yeah, I feel like if it was 10 times, I'd be like,
yeah, it was a lot. That is a lot. It's crazy. Before we close up, what is your advice to, I guess, like anyone out there, male, female, or I guess a little Irene or this and that, like wanting to start not necessarily just like a food channel or this and that, but put something that they believe to be valuable to themselves onto the internet or document it for other people to value. Like what got you to, I guess, like make that like start to do it, and what advice specifically do you have to like those people who are in that space right now being like, fuck, I want to start a podcast. Fuck, I wanted to like start a channel. I want to put myself out there. Like, how do they get to just making that first step?
That's a great question. I have two little bits. Number one is it's never going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. You could think something's perfect and look back at it in a week or a year or 10 years and be like, oh, that's kind of cringy. So it's never going to be perfect. So just fucking do it. Nike vibes. Personal trainer, you're welcome.
Come on, Nike vibes.
Okay, Nike vibes. So just do it because perfection doesn't exist. And I don't struggle with perfectionism. I think that's very clear. Some people do. I don't think it's worth the time. And then the other one is I believe it's like an ancient Chinese proverb is me trying to sound deep. I feel like that's so broad, but this is whenever I've seen it at the bottom, it just says ancient Chinese proverb. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. And the second best time is today. And I think that's really cool. And because, yeah, if you planted a tree 20 years ago, you'd have a cool ass tree. Yeah. But you can plant one today and then in 20 years, there will be one.
Yeah.
And I find myself feeling so, so grateful that I did just start the YouTube channel. My first video is not the best video in the world. My first podcast episode is not the best podcast episode in the world. But I did it and now I'm doing it and I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I have 4+ years of experience doing it now. Whereas if I had waited for something to be perfect or I had waited for the right time, which PS doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist, guys.
Then I wouldn't have fucking done it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had 300 videos that I've made for people to watch and enjoy and learn shit from. And for me to look back on and be like, oh my gosh, look at that.
Damn,
you know?
I need to keep up. I'm at 100 right now.
Damn, that's so impressive.
I need to put 200 more out there. I'll be as cool as Irene.
Damn. Tricky. You're already cooler, so.
Nah. But it's such a cool feeling when that's good advice because I feel like so many people wait for that perfect moment.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, like I started the podcast after I said for like a year that I was going to do it. And then this one guy posted his first podcast and he said he was going to do it like a week ago. And I was like, oh, you don't need all this shit.
Yeah,
You
that
don't
must have
need-
been, yeah.
You don't need the dopest mics. You don't need like the crazy guests. You don't need all this shit.
Yeah.
And
you're
then-
not going to be fucking Mark Maron right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Kimmel's not going to come on your podcast in the
100%.
next year, probably.
Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, probably
Maybe.
not.
But so who cares?
Yeah.
So just fucking do it.
So after I saw that guy do it, the next day I released a podcast.
Hell yeah, dude. That's fucking nectar, dude. That's bubblegum.
Oh, that's bubblegum. That's bubblegum, baby. Yeah, and I was just like, yo, that was not that hard.
Because and think
You just
about
gotta
it, like
put it out there.
if we had done this maybe 10 years, like the first time I thought of creating a YouTube channel was probably 15 years ago, like when I first started watching YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Maybe.
no, I'm not good enough. No, I'm not. I could have been the fucking Markiplier. I could have been having billions of views if I started back then. But I waited, and I'm very grateful I did it when I did, and I'm proud of it, and whatever.
You
But
could
it
have
is
had millions of
when
bites
people
of
were
history.
when people were
and
making
crumbs.
fun of TikTok. Charlie D'Amelio was beep 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 beep.
I know.
Look at her,
I know.
and it's just
People
it's,
still talk shit, but like she got her bag.
dude. Shout out to Emilio's. Good for you.
Good for you.
If you listen to Nate Biltz Podcast, which I'm sure you do,
We're getting there, guys.
I think that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And like, you never know when is the right time, so why not just do it?
Yeah. And the worst case scenario is it doesn't work out and you could try something else.
Literally,
And
the
you
worst case scenario is you're like, okay, bet that didn't work.
Yeah.
That's why I love rejection, dude.
could
Because
cross it
like,
off.
okay, he didn't like me. Cool. I'm not wasting my time on him.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. There was this one business guy who talked about sales all the time. He was like, yo, if you make the goal getting as many no's as possible, you will be one of the best salesmen ever.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe it was the same guy. I don't know his name. I don't know this guy's name either. But somebody was like, if you knew for 100% that on question 100 you would get a yes, how fast do you think you'd go through those first 99?
Yeah.
Those first 99 rejections as quick as you could.
Quick.
And like it's gonna happen, so just fucking keep getting rejected.
Yeah, I mean, that goes along with dating, right? Too.
Story of my life, brother.
Always gets back to dating. Cool.
But yeah.
Alrighty, friend. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank
This
you
was a blast.
so much for having me. This was so fun. I really appreciate
We'll
it.
do it again when we'll do it again.
Oh my God. I can't wait.
And next time we're going to have bread.
Yes, I'll bring bread.
Bread, and we're going to have cocktails.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll Uber next time.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Where can everyone find you?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram and I guess, I don't know, Twitter, Threads.
Threads? Oh, can we talk about that? Do you think that's a real thing? Do you think it's going to blow up?
I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I think it's cute. And TikTok at Homemade by Irene. You can find me on YouTube at just Irene Walton, and that's where Dead Dad's Kitchen and Bites of History live.
Okay. Do you take guests on Dead Dads and stuff? Can they reach out to you if they're dope people?
Yeah, I usually have just been going with like my friends and comedians and stuff, but I'm open to anybody as soon as guests start coming back on and the hiatus is over.
Yeah. And can you just explain Bites of History real quick? I mean, we kind of explained it a little bit, but
Bites of History is my food history podcast which is available on all podcasting platforms as well as YouTube. And it's just like 15-minute little episodes that are like a little bite of history about food.
I loved your like mini fake ads. Like I would rewind those too.
What?
It'd be like, oh, this episode is sponsored by me.
I
went to go paint my nails today. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's dope.
I haven't done that in a while. I need to do that again. But yeah, so it's like a cutesy little podcast. Yeah. That one doesn't have any guests on it yet, but maybe one day.
Yeah, I feel like you could definitely. I mean, I feel like it's harder with guests. Like it makes podcasting harder.
I'm excited for guests because I think it'll be great, but it will take a lot more effort, and I also just don't have the capability to do it yet. But one day.
Sounds good.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. This is a wonderful podcast. Likewise. You're doing great.
All right.
Okay, love you.
See you guys. Bye.